Most people think of money purely in terms of numbers, effort, or external resources. But on a deeper, spiritual level, money acts as a mirror. It reflects the beliefs, emotions, and energetic patterns you hold inside yourself. Your outer financial world is a direct manifestation of your inner spiritual condition. It is not about how hard you work or even how smart you are with investments and saving. It is about your consciousness. If you want to know what you truly believe about abundance, security, or self-worth, just look at your bank account and how you feel about it. When you view money through this lens, it becomes less about chasing wealth and more about becoming inwardly aligned with abundance. Your relationship with money is not formed by the economy, your employer, or your upbringing alone. It is shaped by the invisible but powerful thoughts and emotions you carry. If you believe money is hard to get, you will subconsciously create struggle. If you believe it comes easily and in perfect divine order, you will begin to see it flow to you through channels that once seemed closed. This spiritual mirror also reflects your feelings of worthiness. Many people say they want more money, but deep inside they feel guilty for desiring wealth or think they don't deserve it. They may have absorbed messages early in life such as money is the root of all evil or a rich people are selfish. These beliefs become like spiritual fingerprints on the mirror, smudging your ability to see clearly and receive freely. Until these inner beliefs are healed, no budgeting strategy or new job will fully solve the deeper issue. In the realm of spirit, there is no judgment or shame around money. Money itself is neutral. It takes on the meaning you assign to it. It is neither holy nor profane, but your consciousness determines how it moves in your life. If you feel conflicted about it, that conflict will show up in your experience, perhaps as money coming in and quickly slipping away, or through consistent financial close calls where just enough comes, but never quite more. Think of money as an obedient servant to your inner spiritual condition. If your thoughts are full of fear, doubt, or unworthiness, money will respond accordingly. If your thoughts are peaceful, trusting, and rooted in abundance, money will begin to follow that inner vibration. This is not superstition. It is spiritual law. What is within must express without. Money also reveals your trust level with the divine. Do you believe in a universe of lack or of infinite supply? Do you believe that you must grind every day to deserve money? Or do you accept that as a spiritual being, your needs and even your desires are already accounted for? Faith in divine provision creates a peaceful and open channel through which money can flow. The most powerful part of this mirror is that it shows you not just where you are, but what needs to be shifted. If you're facing constant financial stress, the spiritual mirror is inviting you to examine the stories, vows, or patterns that are still active in your energy field. Maybe it's a vow of poverty taken unconsciously. Maybe it's a belief that you must sacrifice or suffer to be spiritual. These hidden contracts must be brought into the light and lovingly dissolved. True financial transformation doesn't begin in the wallet. It begins in the heart and mind. It starts by observing how you speak about money, how you feel when a bill comes in, and what emotions arise when you think about wealth. Every reaction is a reflection. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. The more conscious you become of your financial beliefs, the more you can rewrite them with truth, faith, and divine wisdom. When you clean the mirror through affirmations, forgiveness, and spiritual understanding, you begin to see money differently. It no longer feels distant or difficult. It becomes a friend, a tool, and a messenger of your growing spiritual clarity. You don't have to chase money or manipulate it. You simply have to align your inner world with truth, and the reflection will adjust. The outer follows the inner. The mirror never lies. It simply waits for you to see yourself clearly and to choose a new reflection. Words are not just sounds or expressions. They are containers of power. The spiritual law of the spoken word teaches that what you consistently speak, you eventually see in your life. Your words set the tone for your reality, especially in the area of money. Most people talk about money as though it's separate from their inner world, but every sentence, every complaint, every expression of lack is a creative act. The words you speak shape the conditions of your finances. Every time you say, "I can't afford that, I'm broke, money never comes easily," or "I'll always be in debt," you're planting seeds in your subconscious. These words don't just disappear, they take root. Over time, they form the foundation of your beliefs, and beliefs are what attract experiences. The spoken word is a declaration to the universe, a signal of what you are ready to receive, resist, or replicate. On the surface, it may seem like a harmless habit to joke about being poor or to casually speak of financial stress. But on a spiritual level, these words carry vibration. The universe is always listening, and it doesn't interpret sarcasm or humor. It responds to the energy behind your words. If you speak from fear, fear multiplies. If you speak from faith, faith is mirrored back. This law does not mean that you should deny reality or pretend that challenges don't exist. But there is a difference between acknowledging a situation and reinforcing it with negative language. For instance, instead of saying, "I'll never get out of this debt," you might say, "This is a temporary condition, and I'm on my way to financial freedom. The situation hasn't changed yet, but the energetic direction has." You've shifted from despair to expectation, from limitation to possibility. Many people unknowingly curse their own financial growth by the way they talk. They may say things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to struggle to succeed," or "A people like me don't get rich." These phrases are passed down through generations, absorbed from family, culture, and media. But spiritual law says you are not bound by the past. You can break the cycle by choosing a new language. Affirmations are one of the most powerful tools for applying the law of spoken word. When you declare statements such as "money flows to me easily and consistently," or "I am open to unexpected income," you are not just hoping. They are spiritual commands. Repeating these affirmations with conviction begins to rewire your subconscious, shift your vibration, and align you with abundance. What you continue to affirm eventually becomes your experience. The key is consistency and belief. If you speak affirmations but underneath you still feel doubt, your energy will be split. The words will have less power. But if you continue speaking with intention, your inner state begins to change. Faith grows. The spoken word isn't just about repeating phrases. It's about using your voice to establish a new energetic standard. It's also important to recognize the impact of everyday conversation. Gossip about other people's wealth, complaining about rising prices, or constantly talking about how bad the economy is can create a climate of fear and lack. Even if it seems logical or fact-based, these conversations lower your vibration. Choose your words like you choose your thoughts, with care, with reverence, and with a focus on the truth of divine supply. This law is especially powerful when activated in difficult moments. When a bill arrives that you weren't expecting, what do you say? When your income dips, what comes out of your mouth? These are the moments when spiritual discipline is required. Instead of speaking fear, you speak faith. Instead of saying, "How am I going to survive this?" you declare every need is already met. I am guided, supplied, and supported. Your voice carries creative force. It builds or breaks. It opens or shuts doors. You're speaking your financial reality into existence every day, whether consciously or not. When you begin to speak only what you want to experience, not what you fear, you reclaim your power. You begin to use your words as sacred instruments of creation. There is also a deeper level of this law: silence. Not every thought needs to be spoken, especially if it carries doubt or fear. Sometimes choosing not to speak a limiting word is just as powerful as choosing to speak a truth. Guarding your tongue is an act of spiritual maturity. It says, "I refuse to speak lack into existence. I choose to let silence hold space for something better." The law of substitution is a spiritual principle that states you cannot hold two opposing thoughts or emotions in your mind at the same time. If one dominates, the other must go. In the context of money and abundance, this means you cannot truly welcome prosperity while simultaneously entertaining fear, guilt, or a belief in lack. One will push the other out. So when a negative thought about money arises, it must be consciously and immediately replaced with a higher thought, a truth that aligns with abundance, faith, and divine provision. This law is essential because the human mind tends to drift toward worry by default. Especially when it comes to finances, it's easy to let fear take over. Thoughts like "what if I lose everything?" or "how will I pay this bill?" often pop up without warning. Left unchecked, these thoughts gather momentum and create emotional and spiritual weight. But the moment you become aware of them, you are given the opportunity to apply the law of substitution. You can replace fear with trust. You can substitute anxiety with gratitude. You can choose a new mental atmosphere. It's important to understand that the law doesn't ask you to deny the presence of negative thoughts. It simply demands that you don't let them take root. Just as a gardener pulls weeds to make space for flowers, you must remove thoughts of lack and plant thoughts of abundance. For example, if you find yourself thinking, there's never enough, immediately replace it with, everything I need is already provided. Even if you don't fully believe the new thought at first, the act of substitution begins to shift your energy and consciousness. Your subconscious mind responds to repetition and feeling. The more you practice substitution, the more natural it becomes. Over time, your mind will begin to favor the new, empowering thoughts instead of the old, limiting ones. This doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you attract. Your outer world will begin to mirror your new inner dialogue. The law of substitution is also an act of spiritual authority. It is you standing in your divine power, saying, I no longer agree with thoughts of limitation. I no longer partner with fear. I choose to align my thinking with truth. This conscious shift reclaims energy that would otherwise be wasted on worry, and it allows that energy to be redirected toward creativity, solutions, and inspired action. Guilt is another emotion that often needs to be substituted. Many people carry subconscious guilt around the idea of having money. Perhaps they were taught that desiring wealth is selfish or unspiritual. Others may feel guilty for wanting more when others have less. But guilt is not productive. It doesn't help others, and it doesn't invite abundance. The truth is that you cannot lift others out of lack by keeping yourself in it. You must replace guilt with permission. You must allow yourself to be prosperous, knowing that your abundance can bless many lives. Shame is another subtle but powerful block. When people have made past financial mistakes, debt, poor investments, overspending, they often carry shame that colors their future decisions. This shame must be substituted. But if you release it with faith, there is always more where this came from. You open the channel wider. Some people misunderstand spiritual giving, believing it means giving until you're empty or sacrificing your own needs to be a good. But the law of circulation is based on balance. You are not meant to only give or only receive. You are meant to flow in both directions. Just as water becomes stagnant when it stops moving, so does money when it is blocked by guilt, fear, or the belief that you are not worthy to receive. Receiving with grace is just as spiritual as giving with joy. The two are inseparable. One common block to circulation is the belief that wealth is a limited pie, that if someone else has more, it means there's less for you. But spiritual truth teaches that the universe is abundant beyond measure. There is enough for everyone, and your giving never diminishes you. In fact, when you give from alignment, you enlarge your own capacity to receive. You become a clearer vessel through which good can flow. You stop seeing yourself as the source of your supply and begin to understand that you are a channel through which divine supply moves. Gratitude plays a vital role in activating this law. When you give or pay money with gratitude, you multiply its energy. A bill can become a blessing if you see it as proof that you were trusted with service. A gift can become a sacred act when offered with no expectation but full faith that it will return in divine timing. Circulation is never a loss. It is always an investment in the invisible economy of spirit. What you send out in love cannot return void. Another aspect of this law involves releasing old money beliefs or past financial mistakes. Holding on to resentment about lost money, past debt, or financial regret creates energetic stagnation. Just as circulating money opens channels, so does circulating forgiveness. When you forgive yourself or others for financial harm, you free up space for abundance to move again. Holding on to bitterness, shame, or anger blocks not only your peace but also your prosperity. To live in harmony with the law of circulation, you must trust the rhythm of divine timing. Money may not always return from the same place or in the same form. What you give in generosity may return as an opportunity, a connection, an unexpected check, or simply peace of mind. But return it must, because spiritual law is unfailing. When you participate in circulation consciously and with faith, You align yourself with the natural abundance that surrounds and supports you at all times. The law of divine right timing is a spiritual law that governs the unfolding of events, including the flow of money and abundance in your life. According to this principle, everything you need, financially, materially, or otherwise, arrives at exactly the right moment, never too early and never too late. It is not governed by human pressure, anxiety, or force, but by a higher intelligence that orchestrates all things with precision and purpose. Trusting in divine right timing means releasing the illusion of control and allowing your financial blessings to unfold in perfect alignment with your spiritual readiness. In a world that prioritizes speed, urgency, and immediate gratification, this law can feel frustrating. It may seem like your efforts are going unnoticed, like your prayers are unanswered, or like others are being blessed while you're being forgotten. But spiritual timing is not random or delayed. It is exact. When you understand this, you stop pushing against time and start flowing with divine order. You begin to recognize that delay is not denial. It is often preparation. What looks like a financial setback may be a divine setup for something greater than you can currently see. Your money does not arrive just because you want it, or even because you work for it. It arrives when you are spiritually aligned to receive and sustain it. This alignment includes your beliefs, emotions, readiness, and capacity to manage increased abundance without fear or sabotage. If you are not yet spiritually prepared to handle more, the delay is actually a form of grace. Divine right timing protects you from gaining something prematurely, only to lose it through misalignment. It ensures that your outer world is supported by your inner foundation. There are times when you may feel tempted to force outcomes, to make something happen through worry, manipulation, or sheer willpower. But this approach rarely leads to peace, and it often results in temporary gain followed by long-term confusion or stress. The law of divine right timing teaches you to act in faith, not fear. It invites you to do your part, stay open, take inspired action, follow your inner guidance, but to release the outcome and trust that what is meant for you cannot be lost or delayed by human circumstances. Impatience is one of the most common blocks to financial flow. When you become impatient, you are essentially saying, I don't trust that the universe knows what it's doing. This energy creates resistance. You may begin to doubt your own path or compare your progress to others. But comparison only clouds your vision and pulls you out of alignment. Your journey is unique, and your abundance will come in the form, timing, and manner that serves your highest good. Often there is internal work that must be completed before external financial shifts occur. You may need to release an old belief about struggle, heal a wound around worthiness, or develop new habits of stewardship. Divine right timing ensures that your increase arrives when you are not only desiring it, but capable of sustaining it. It doesn't just deliver money, it delivers transformation. And that transformation becomes the true wealth. This law also works through synchronicity. You may be guided to the right job, the right client, the right opportunity at what seems like the last minute. But in spiritual reality, it is not last minute. It is the exact moment when all elements have aligned. Trying to rush or panic before that moment can cloud your intuition and lead you down paths that waste time, energy, and resources. Trusting the timing allows you to stay in peace, knowing that what is yours cannot pass you by. Gratitude plays an essential role in activating divine right timing. When you are thankful for what you have now, even while desiring more, you send a powerful message to the universe. I trust your timing. I trust that I am already supported. This gratitude acts as a magnet, drawing in more to be thankful for. It shifts your focus from lack to sufficiency and from anxiety to expectancy. Faith is the backbone of this law. Not passive faith that waits idly, but active faith that prepares, expects, and responds to inner guidance. When you believe that your financial needs are already known and are being met in the perfect time, you can release the tension of a when and move into the peace of a now. This is not about doing nothing. It's about doing what you are guided to do while trusting that the outcome is already unfolding in divine order. The law of divine right timing frees you from urgency and invites you into rhythm. It teaches you to rest in knowing rather than strive in doubt. It reminds you that you are part of a much larger divine plan, one that includes not just provision, but purpose, growth, and divine orchestration of every detail.